I've seen a lot of criticism, and I'm not talking about Twitter randos and fans, because fans are going to be fans, and they don't necessarily understand, or even fans shouldn't even care about the business side of wrestling. So, fans are one thing, but I've seen a very specific criticism from a lot of professional pundits and analysts and people who cover wrestling this week that has completely driven me up the wall. And the complaint is that when Thunder Rosa announced that she was injured and would not be defending her title at the pay-per-view, and that explaining her situation and that there would be an interim champion and all that, they did that in a backstage segment with, I believe, Tony Schiavone, and it got about 30 to 45 seconds or whatever. And the criticism is that CM Punk, when in the same position, was given a 15-minute quarter hour to open up a Dynamite, and how this was grossly unfair and shows and proves how Tony Khan does not care about his women's division, and how AEW as a whole doesn't give a shit about the women's division. And I cannot believe my ears when I hear people who should know better, not dopey fans on Twitter, but pundits and people who cover pro wrestling for a living. That is such a horrendous, bullshit, nonsensical take. Here's the thing. When Thunder Rosa can pull a rating, that's when Thunder Rosa gets 15-minute segments on Dynamite. This is not politics. There is no requirement for equal time. This is not a fucking charity. This is a business. This is not a soup kitchen. Okay? Thunder Rosa can barely get through a 30-second pre-tape promo without fucking something up. In fact, her pre-tape promo with Schiavone was clunky and screwed up. You cannot put Thunder Rosa in front of a crowd with a microphone in a ring for 15 minutes the way you can CM Punk, because she simply cannot perform at that level with the microphone. Besides the fact that it's going to tank the quarter hour because it's Thunder Rosa. Okay? CM Punk is a legitimate business draw, the biggest draw in the company, and one of the greatest stickmen in the history of professional wrestling. That's someone you hand a microphone and put in a ring for a 15-minute quarter hour, because he's going to pop the quarter hour and he's going to cut not just a competent promo, which Thunder Rosa cannot do, but a great promo, and get the story over and take the people through it, both in the live crowd and at home. There is a huge difference, a Gulf-sized, Grand Canyon, universe-sized difference between Thunder Rosa, nice little wrestler, and CM Punk, all-time great on the microphone, one of the biggest legitimate draws in pro wrestling. That's why CM Punk gets 15 minutes on Dynamite to explain his situation, and that's why Thunder Rosa gets 30 seconds pre-taped with Tony Schiavone, and God knows how many times I had to tape it just to get the slop that she produced out anyway. Okay? The last time they put Thunder Rosa in front of a live crowd with a microphone with Serena Deeb, it was one of the worst Dynamite segments of the year. And you want to put her out there like they did CM Punk for 15 minutes? Let alone, forget the fact that it would tank the rating. Just the fact that she can't get through it. It's nonsense. And I can't believe people are making that argument. I don't know whether they're pandering. I don't know what the deal is. But you got to get your shit together if you genuinely believe that Thunder Rosa deserved the same time that CM Punk did. Your first mistake is using the word deserved. You don't deserve shit. There's a meritocracy. She doesn't deliver ratings like CM Punk, and she doesn't perform like CM Punk. Maybe if this had been Britt Baker in Thunder Rosa's position, you trust her with a microphone. You trust her in front of the live crowd. You trust her to hold up her end of the ratings. Thunder Rosa? No. Nonsense. Nonsense. Awful. It's no wonder that this is the best podcast in wrestling. Rich Craich, thank you for the time.
No problem. Yeah, that is an absurd. I mean, especially, it's not like you're talking about Thunder Rosa and, I don't know, pick another dude on the roster. Dax Harwood. You know what I mean? Like, it's CM Punk. He's like one of the greatest talkers ever. Like, he is definitely afforded the ability to have 15 minutes to tell his story. And he was definitely afforded multiple minutes on this episode of Dynamite to try to go and sell a pay-per-view because he's CM Punk. He's one of the greatest, if not, and if you said he's the greatest promo in wrestling history, it's tough to argue. I would not argue with you. If he was your pick, I might go with a Flair. I might go with an Arn Anderson. I might go with a few other guys, but fuck, Punk's right up there, man. Punk's right there. He might even be there. I cannot believe, and I did see a little bit of that too, and I was, laughing at just the overall, like, just the very idea of it made me laugh, but then also when you really boil it down like you did, wait, we're talking about CM Punk, one of the greatest talkers in wrestling history, and Thunder Rosa, who, as you kind of laid out there, I mean, yeah, I like Thunder Rosa in the ring. I think that she brings a lot to the table, but promo ability is not it. It would be a disaster. It would be an absolute disaster to put her out in the middle of Dynamite and give her 15 minutes with a microphone. That is a disaster. You do not do that. That is not good. That puts her in a bad position, too, because she's not good at that either. Like, I don't think she would have wanted that either. Like, that's a terrible, 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 terrible position to put Thunder Rosa in. So, the stopwatch dorks got way out of control this week because that's just absurd. That absolutely absurd.
If these people ran a wrestling promotion, it'd be out of business in 6 months.
So quick. Yeah, so quick.
In 6 months, it'd be out of business.